Wednesday Show. Wednesday Show. Wednesday Show. I moved up today, but I'm still like ridiculously tiny on the screen there. Is that better? Maybe? Oh. There you go. Hopefully. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I was literally just told my parents. I was like, I guarantee you, as soon as we get on, people are going to talk about the bunk beds. Literally, the first comment: bunk beds. Hey! How's everyone doing? We're going to pull up this right here real quick. Yeah, my parents' condo. They leave on Sunday. So with them just for a few more days here. So yeah, we're coming to you guys live from the condo. I'm also trying to figure out exactly which episode number we are on right now before we get started here. Where's the Wednesday show? There we go. Oh, I didn't say on that episode. No, well, we're gonna make up an episode. I think it's 685, maybe 686. We'll see. We will see. How's everyone doing? You guys doing good? Hopefully everyone's doing well. So today we're going to be going through and we're going to be answering your Disney questions about anything and everything Disney. So start throwing your questions into the comments below. I sent the message to my Patreon people late today. If you're a Patreon person, Matt, you're a Patreon person. I apologize here. Wait 1 second. Because that's not plugged. Is that plugged in? It's plugged in. Okay. You're traveling to Oklahoma on Friday. What are you going to Oklahoma for? You know, relive the musical? Oklahoma, la 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 la. Hey, howdy, hey, welcome to the practice round. Yeah, still at my parents' condo. I told my friends, I was like, this is going to be the first thing people are going to talk about again. I even brought it up in my Instagram story too. That this is a very real possibility that this is going to be what people are going to be asking about tonight, is the condo. Okay. Well, Matt, I hope you have a very safe trip out to Oklahoma. And it is almost Thanksgiving in Canada. So happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadians. Is it this week or is it next week? Or is it in two? I don't know. I know in the States it is the third or the fourth. The third Thursday? Is it the third Thursday or fourth Thursday of the month? I can't remember. It's Monday. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian friends. Okay, so let's get this party started. We're going to start the 686th episode, I believe. I could be wrong on the dates. I'll have to check my calendar at home. The 686th episode of the Wednesday Show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 686th episode of the Wednesday Show. Today is October 5th, 2022, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today, we're going to be going through and answering your questions about anything and everything Disney. So if you guys have questions, start throwing them into the comments below. I see some things coming up, so start throwing your questions into the comments below, and we're going to answer all questions about anything and everything Disney over the next hour here. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. So first off, thank you to everyone who's been checking out our Saturday in the Park. If you don't already know, every single Saturday right here on this YouTube channel, or on the From Screen to Theme Facebook page, not the YouTube channel, the From Screen to Theme Facebook page, we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be broadcasting from. This past Saturday, we broadcasted from the Voices of Liberty in honor of the 40th anniversary of Epcot. So join us every single Saturday. We always have a lot of fun, and we always like to see more and more people in that chat room as well. We'll be broadcasting this Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Also, thank you to everyone out there who's been checking out our daily Disney videos over on our YouTube channel. If you didn't already know, every single day we are uploading more and more videos over on the YouTube channel. We're doing a video which is going live every day right around 10:45, sometimes a little later, but most likely it's right around 10:45 in the morning. And then every day around 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we are uploading a YouTube short. So make sure you join us every single day for those videos as well. And I realized we did not do this last week, so let's do it this week. Let's see how many subscribers we're at, because we usually do that, and we forgot to do that last week. Right now, our starting number is 2152 for today's show. Okay. And of course, as always, tonight's show is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All their services are absolutely, positively, 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. We didn't do this last week, so let's... It's all about... Oh, wait. It's all about the mouse travel. Jazz hands. Okay, so let's get to this. Like I said, we're going to go to the Patreon questions first. If any Patreon pals had sent any questions in, we're going to go through their questions before we go to any of the other questions here. Okay, we got one from Eric, and then Matt, we're going to go to yours in the chat room because you're a Patreon pal as well. Which part of Walt Disney World haven't you been, but it's at the top of your list to go there? Well, I've done every attraction. I've been in every resort I've been pretty much everywhere on property. However, if I could choose a place to go that I've never been before, there's a few places. One of them no longer exists. Actually, two of them no longer exist. But if I could bring them back to go on them, I would give anything to go on them. I would say right now, the one place that I would love to go more than anything is I would love to be at the top of the Fantasmic Mountain where Mickey comes out at the end. Boom, boom. Wouldn't that be the coolest thing to be up there? Like, I would love to be up there. It'd also be cool to be at the top of Spaceship Earth, or the top of Tower of Terror, or the top of a lot of tops of... I've been at the top of Cinderella Castle. Not the top, but I've been at a spot where very, very few people have ever been before, which is like there's a little spot, and it's like the ladder that they actually go to get to the top. I have been there before. So I don't know. When I did my college program, I always enjoyed going to the roofs of the building because it's just kind of a cool, unique view of different spots. So we had a manager who his name was Steve. And I don't even know if Steve still works for Disney, but we had a manager named Steve, and Steve used to take us on crazy adventures. Like, we got to go into the ballroom for Haunted Mansion. We had to go above the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea area before it was torn down. He took me up to the top of Cinderella Castle. And Steve one time said, "Do you want to go to the rooftops of Fantasyland?" I was like, yes. So we got up to the top of Pinocchio's Village House, and we touched the bell up there. And then also in Liberty Square, we went to the top of Liberty Tree Tavern, and we watched the fireworks from up there, which is like the coolest spot to watch fireworks. That one we had to get permission to do, but we got permission, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was so cool. But yeah, right now, for the places I've never been, I would say the top of Fantasmic, on top of the mountain, I think would be the coolest place of places I've never been on Disney property. That would probably be the one spot. I'm sure you were like looking for like an attraction or some unique spot like that, but that is the one that, yeah. Okay. Let's go to Matt's question. Matt is one of our Patreon pals. We're going to answer his question, then we're going to go to all the other questions that are in the chat room. Matt, you had a question, didn't you? Or did I imagine that? Oh, you did have a question. There we go. Have you done more Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties? I've only done the one this year, which I didn't even dress up for. It was like such a hectic week. It was the week that we filmed our crazy challenge. So I came back, flew back Monday, worked Tuesday that week. Wednesday, I was off for the Wednesday show. Thursday, I worked. And then Friday, I was at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. So it was like a crazy, crazy week. And I didn't really have enough time to make a costume, because if you guys have been watching for a while, I usually make like crazy costumes out of cardboard and construction paper. And unfortunately for this year, I just never had a chance to do it. I don't think I'm going to be going to any more Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties this year. unless like a free one fell from the sky or something. Then I would definitely do it because I love Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, but it's just so expensive. It's so expensive. One of my favorite things about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Parties was in 2019. You could actually buy an annual pass for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and it cost the price of 2 tickets. So if you would go twice, you've already paid it off. So that year, I think I went like 14 times or 15 times. It was the greatest year. I absolutely loved that year. But yeah, unfortunately, I think I am done with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Parties for this year, not for all time, because I love it so much. All right, let's go to the other questions in the chat room here. Okay, let's start off here. We got 2 people saying the same thing. What did you buy for Epcot's 40th? What 40th merchandise did you get? I purchased, I think it was 4 things. I got the Day of shirt. I got the Day of hat. So the Day of shirt's a red shirt. On the side here, it's got like the Epcot logo, and then it says October 1st, 2022. And then the hat is the Epcot logo. And then on the brim right here, it says October 1st, 2002, or 2022, not 2002. That wouldn't make any sense at all. And then I got I bought the pin. That was for that day only. And I also bought the Figment plush, which is still available to buy at the stores now. So just those 4 things. I could see how some people probably spent a fortune. There's a lot of great merchandise that day. I was going in with the intention of getting the hat, and I ended up walking out with 4 items. So yeah, not the best thing, especially after being on a cruise just the week before. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose a fortune. That's awesome. The subscriber count, it felt like it took forever to get to 2,000, and bam, you're at 2152. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I really greatly appreciate every person out there who's been watching the videos, commenting on the videos, sharing the videos with friends. Every view, every comment, every like, I say this all the time, but every single one of those truly helps grow the channel. There's some weeks where I'll go up 50 to 100 people, new subscribers, and there's sometimes where it's like 5 to 10. But every single person, every subscriber, I cannot stress enough. I really do appreciate every person who takes the time to go onto YouTube and subscribe. So thank you everyone out there who has been subscribing. There was a photo circulating from the opening of Epcot, and Mickey was standing on top of Spaceship Earth. How did they get him up there? So that photo, there's a lot of people who are talking about that photo. That photo is not just from the opening. They also had it so Mickey's been at the top 2 or 3 times. I want to say it's 2, but I could be wrong. He was there at the opening, and then also in the late 80s, they had it so they put him up there again for a commercial. And on that commercial, he's there, and they have it so like a helicopter comes by. Obviously, you can't see the helicopter because you're in the helicopter, but you can see Mickey waving. And then if you look at the background, you can actually see Norway, meaning that it is not opening day, but it would be 1988 or later. So that one, I vividly remember seeing that commercial as a kid. But yeah, they get him up there. So Spaceship Earth, right? We got Spaceship Earth right here. When you're walking into Spaceship Earth, there's like that giant pylon or that giant pillar that is made of mirrors on all 3 sides of it. And that's holding it up. That is not just a pillar. That is actually an elevator that's in there as well. So if you were to go through that door that is actually facing towards the actual queue line, you go in there, and obviously, like, you see the door, it's like, oh, this is going to be anticlimactic. But there's actually an elevator after you go inside that door, and that elevator can take you up about 2/3 of the way up into the Spaceship Earth dome. Now, the way that the dome is structured is it's actually 2 different layers. So there's an inside layer and there's an outside layer. So you can get up 2/3, or you're about 2/3 up. I'm misspeaking. You yourself are about 2/3 of the way up inside of the dome when you're actually on Spaceship Earth. When you get to the very top and you see the Earth off in the distance, and she's like, and this are Spaceship Earth dramatic music. So when you actually see that, you're like 2/3, almost 3/4 of the way up, but you're not all the way to the very top. If you look at the roof, though, of that area, you can actually see another elevator shaft. So the elevator can take you up that way, and then you can go up another elevator that will actually take you to the very, well, not the very top, but there's a hatch up there. You can go into the hatch. You can. Mickey can. you can go into the hatch. Mickey, again, can go in the hatch, and he can climb to the top and be at the very top there. So yeah, that's how they get him up there. Multiple elevators and climbing a ladder. So yeah, now we learned a little bit about the structure of Spaceship Earth. Did I go to the D23 event for the 40th? I did not go to the D23 event. I just didn't. So my life has been very hectic, and especially we had the hurricane, and then I had to go to work for one day. We were so short-staffed at work because we had hurricane. So we had a lot of people who unfortunately could not make it in. Luckily, a lot of those people have no problems anymore. They had some problems the first few days, but they are better now, which is all good. But so that day, Friday, was like the longest work day, so I slept in on Saturday, which was fine by me. So I slept in. I missed some of the 40th anniversary stuff, but I also saw the stuff that I wanted to see. So it was a great 40th, actually. I really enjoyed the 40th. We didn't do a whole lot. Like, we didn't go all out like we did for the 50th last year, but we just kind of took it easy, had a good time, and overall, it was a great day. It was a great day. Also, were photos of a hot air balloon shaped like Spaceship Earth and with Mickey hand and wave on the side. Does Disney own those? Where do they keep them? How often do they come out? So I have seen with my own eyes the Mickey one off in the distance. They are Disney owned. Disney has, they own so much property that they're probably in some secret shed that no one even knows about. But they don't come out very often. I'm trying to think of when I saw I want to say I saw the 40th, I'm sorry, not the 40th. I was thinking of the 40th anniversary. I think I saw the Mickey head one when I was doing one of the Run Disney races. Definitely, that's exactly where it was. During one of the Run Disney races, we were running down World Drive, and they had the balloon, like, not all the way up, but they had it tethered to the ground so everyone could see it while you're running down and on the way back. I want to say it was the 25th anniversary of the marathon, so that would have been in 2017, 18, 19, somewhere around there. 2018, I want to say. Maybe it was 17, I don't know. But they had it so the balloon was there. So when you were going down World Drive, you could actually see the balloon, and then you could see it on the way back too. So they have the balloon someplace on property. I'm sure that they're not like, hey, this is the closet where we keep it. Be kind of cool though. Again, for those of you guys who are just joining us right now, because we do have more and more people joining us right now, if you guys want to have your questions about anything and everything Disney answered, make sure you throw them into the comments, and we're going to go through as many of the questions as possible while we are here live. All right, let's keep on going through. Any interviews in the works for the show? I do need to get another interview. It's been a long time since we had an interview. What it's funny is a lot of the people who are watching right now probably never were part of our time when I was trying to get an interview like once a month or once every other month with different famous Disney people, and we were actually doing pretty good there for a while. And then it just got to the point where I had like 5 or 6 people who were like, no, I can't do it. And I was like, oh. And I just stopped asking. I was getting turned down by all the rejections. So it's been a while, but we need to find someone to come on the show. I think John Musker and Ron Clements would be really cool to have on the show. I think that'd be really cool. Or Jody Benson, or like 100 other people. Nothing in the works, but now you've got me thinking. Eric sent me a text message, so I don't forget later on. I'm like, oh, I'm playing Pokemon. I actually don't even play Pokemon, so I don't know why I said Pokemon. Okay, let's go to our next question here. You had a No Way Jose. Oh, we were talking today about having a No Way Jose, but we went to the park. Herbie was having issues, so we dropped Herbie off yesterday to get his oil change, and then there was an issue with the oil change, so then they asked me to pick him up, and I had to bring him someplace else for the oil change. And then so we were here for a while, and then my mom stayed at the condo. I went back to the park, and when we were at the park, we're like, oh, we could have gone to get No Way Jose, but my mom likes No Way Jose's too, so we're like, we can't do it without her. I mean, we could, but We'll see. Where's the person that is Crush? I always wondered where they were in the room. Oh, from Turtle Talk with Crush. Is that what you're saying? Who's friends with Crush? It's the same thing with I was thinking the soda for some reason. I was like, what are you talking about? No one's dressed as a soda can around here. Who's the person that is Crush? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. I'm so far behind in the comments right now that you're probably saying that's what I'm talking about, and I'm just like, is that what you're talking about? Let's look here. Is that what you're talking about? Yes, that is what you're talking about. Okay. They're not in the room with you at all. There's microphones everywhere in that room, and then you also have the person has got a microphone there too. So the way that this is going to be a spoiler alert for those of you guys who don't want to have anything ruined for you about how things work with Disney, but the way that they do it for Turtle Talk with Crush, the same way that they do it for Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, is it's completely different room. Completely, like they're in the same building, but a completely different room, and they are watching us through a camera while we are watching them on a screen, and it's all puppetry. Actually, there's digital puppets, so they can move the mouth and they can control the thing while they actually talk and interact with the children, or the adults, depending on if it's a child or adult talking to them. But yeah, they're in a completely different spot. They're not in that room with you, but they can hear what's going on in that room at all times. So yeah, that's what happened to the feature Hand in Hand song. The "Eight Up, come on, eight up, eight up, eight up." That one. I'll go with the future, hand in hand. Moving to the future, hand in hand. Up, head up. So that song has a kind of crazy history. Not a crazy history. It was originally for Tapestry of Nations, was the original debut for that song, and then eventually it was short-lived in that part. Tapestry of Nations continued to have other songs, but it was short-lived in there because it was also used for Illuminations at the same time. And it was used for Illuminations as you exited the park. It disappeared for a while after Illuminations left, but then it made a glorious return for like a week. And then, well, as people were exiting the park, and then you could hear it at the 40th anniversary as well. So it still exists in our hearts, and I'm sure we're going to hear it again sometime in the future. We'll celebrate the future hand in hand. But I don't know when we'll see it again. Hopefully again soon, because I actually do like that song a lot. It's one of those songs like when you would leave the park, you're like, oh, I can do anything. I always like those songs. I saw a painting of the Mickey head one inside Grand Floridian, took the keys to the Kingdom tour, and we stopped there for a restroom break. Not bad. Let's see here. Please interview Don Ducky Williams. I met Don Ducky Williams one time too. There's been the funny thing is we were talking the other day about Tommy Kirk. I was like, oh yeah, I've met Tommy Kirk. I've met so many different Disney people. I just haven't really had the chance to interview them. Sometimes I don't want to be a burden either. Like, oh, hey, it's so great to meet you. Now be on my show. Do you know how Disney chooses the music for the parks like Hollywood Studios, alike on Sunset Boulevard or near Echo Lake? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. So it depends really, because sometimes the music that you hear in the parks might be familiar songs that you know and love, but are actually different composers than what you know and love, if that makes sense at all. I actually met a very weird, crazy story. I met a guy who I don't even know if he still watches the show. He used to watch the show after the words. So Rick, hello, if you're watching later on. Rick, I met him in a parking lot. This is so weird. I met him in a parking lot because I was with a friend. We were walking through the parking lot, and they're like, "Oh, that's my friend Rick." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know Rick." And they're like, "Oh, you know of Rick though?" And I was like, "I have no idea who this Rick guy is." So Rick came up, and Rick's like, "Hey, I read your book." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was like, "Oh, is that how I should know you?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably." And then the mutual friend was like, no, Rick actually has written several music for the parks around Walt Disney World. And I was like, oh, that's even cooler. Then I was like blown away. It was funny because I was like freaking out because he made things in the park. Well, I simply like talk about the park. So like he shouldn't have been freaking out about me because he's made a bigger contribution than I ever will at the Disney. But yeah, Rick, he was explaining to me about how they take different songs and they'll, like, because they have to make it their own. So they'll be similar and stuff. But anyways, so that's part of it. And then another part of it is because, like you say here on Sunset Boulevard or near Echo Lake, what they do for those areas, because most of the stuff that he does is for Magic Kingdom. I don't think he still does it. I think he moved away. But anyways, I'm getting completely sidetracked. Now I kind of want to reach out to him and see how he's doing. But anyways, so it comes down to period timing for different parts of the park. A lot of the music around the parks are completely specifically created specifically for the parks, especially things like Animal Kingdom. If you go through Animal Kingdom, almost every single song in Animal Kingdom is created by Disney, although some of them are written by Disney based off of other music. So they give credit to those other musicians in their official thing. So the official musicians do get money and royalties, but at the same time, they don't, because it's confusing. It's very confusing. Sunset Boulevard, they have things like kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. We all know it because it was at the end of Avengers Endgame. Also, side note, it was also found in Civil War when Captain America is going. This is like spoiler alerts if you guys have not watched the movies. But when he's going into his apartment and Nick Fury's there and he's like shot, he's like, oh, I'm dying. And he's like, hey, how you doing? And there's music playing. The music that's playing is the same exact song. But that's completely besides the point. The reason that they use that specific song is because it fits in with that timeline that is going down Sunset Boulevard. Because if you remember in Sunset Boulevard, we are right around the time of the 1930s, 1940s, depending on which part of Hollywood Boulevard you're actually walking down. Okay, now I'm going to go on to another little... Leah, you've asked the right question because this is quite possibly going to be the rest of the show. We're going to get to more questions, I promise you. But so when you are walking down Hollywood Boulevard, when you're going down Sunset Boulevard, both of them, that's one goes this way, one goes this way. Hollywood Boulevard, when you're walking down Hollywood Boulevard and you start at the entrance and you make your way to the Grauman's Chinese Theater, while you're going down, you're actually going through a history of architecture around Hollywood in the 1900s. So at the first spot on your left-hand side, you can find things like, obviously the first one that you see is Sid Cuenca's Once Upon a Time, or The Curious Stuff. It's now PhotoPass. But if you look at that is actually based off of the architecture they could find in the early 1900s. Then the next one you can find is these, not Sir Mickey's, Mickey's of Hollywood. Mickey's of Hollywood is broken up into 3 different sections. The first one is based off the 1920s. Also, fun fact, if you ever used to go in there when the park first opened up, it actually had it so that entire first section of the store was all themed around Steamboat Willie. So when you went, side note, anyone who's watching the show for the first time ever is probably like, who's this dude in front of the bunk beds? I'm just looking at myself on the camera. I was like, that's what I was thinking. Like, who on earth is this guy? But you go through the first room, they have Steamboat Willie because Steamboat Willie came out in 1928. So it actually matched with the architecture that was outside. The next room would be based around the band concert, which was the first time that Mickey ever appeared in color. It also came out in 1934, and the outside of the building also resembled the architecture from the 1930s. And then when you get to the next section, the next room featured Mickey from Fantasia, which came out in 1940. And guess what? The outside of that building was reminiscent of the architecture found in the buildings around 1940s. Then if you went to the next spot, Keystone Clothiers, it's broken up to 2 different sections. The first part in 1950s, the next part in 1960s. So when you go down, the entire thing is based up around those types of things. Same thing when you go over to Sunset Boulevard. As you start on one way and you start making your way down, the architecture slowly changes. However, in this section, it actually changes the timeline. So you start off around that same time of the early 1930s. maybe a little into the late 1930s. And then as you get further and further down, eventually your timeline changes, because when we get to the Tower of Terror, we are in Hollywood, 1939. Amidst the glitz and the glamour of a bustling time, you know this deal. But when you go through, it kind of goes through that thing. But that brings us back to our question from, do you know how Disney chooses the music for parks like Hollywood Studios? It all comes down to the theming of this specific area. So what they want to do is they want to go through and they want to find the songs that actually fit in with those specific time periods. Places like Sunset Boulevard or places like Echo Lake are a little bit more difficult to find, because they do go through that entire area from 1920s all the way up until maybe 1950s, depending on where you're actually going. So when they're trying to figure out exactly which songs to do, they kind of do a trial and error when the parks are closed. Okay, does this song actually fit in with the feel of this specific land? One of the great examples of how they do this is actually Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. When they first started working on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, they had over 100 songs they wanted to choose from. And the Imagineers literally just kept on going on the ride over and over and over again, listening to different songs. And after they would get off the thing, they would actually do votes on, hey, does this song work with the attraction or does it not work with the attraction? As they would go through with this trial and error process, they would eventually come to the idea that, hey, maybe the best 6 songs that we can actually have fitting with this would be I Ran, One Way or Another, Disco Inferno, September, Conga, and I'm missing one. What's the one I'm missing? I can't think of it. But they would come up with One Way or Another. I don't think I said that one. Did I? I don't think so. Anyways, they would kind of go through this trial and error process. They do the same thing while you're going through the actual parks, trying to figure out exactly what would work and what won't work, and what gives you the feel. There have been times where you can go through the Disney parks and you can hear songs that you've never heard before, and there's a chance that you may never hear it again, because they are doing trial runs of, should we throw the song in here? Does it fit well or does it not? Now, one of the biggest turnarounds that they ever did for the Disney music at Hollywood Studios was about 4 or 5 years ago. They changed the entire soundtrack for the entrance area along with Hollywood Boulevard, along with Echo Lake. They switched up everything. Every single song was completely brand new, and everything at the entrance was actually a completely different variation of different Disney music. And it was just kind of a trial and error. They said, let's try this out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we're going to go back to the old music. And they actually made a statement about it too on their social media saying, hey, check it out. We might have limited time music. However, if enough people enjoy it, we will keep it around forever. And they've kept it around forever. That was a long, Leah, well done. You got me talking a lot longer than I ever thought I would. What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you while you were a custodian at Disney? Oh, the first one that popped in my head is the first one that popped in my head is disgusting. It deals with the bathroom. We're not going to talk about that because that's disgusting. What we will talk about, I was going to say, send me a message if you want to hear it. It was just the, never mind. We'll just say that someone, they used number 2 for artistic reasons. That's all I'll say. Imagine. So the craziest thing that ever happened, well, even today, we were in line for Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, and we were walking over the handprints, on the ground, and we walked over Liza Minnelli's, and I was like, oh, Liza Minnelli. I told her where the bathroom was once. That's a true story. So Liza Minnelli, the daughter of Judy Garland, also the star of multiple pictures. They used to have a McDonald's night at the Magic Kingdom. So if you were an owner of a McDonald's, you were invited to the Magic Kingdom for a night. It was because McDonald's used to be a huge sponsor for Disney. And so Disney and McDonald's would have it so they could, if you were an owner of a McDonald's franchise or a building, you were allowed to have it so you could come to the park. The park would be closed specifically only for people who owned a McDonald's. And I had no idea how many celebrities owned McDonald's until that night, because the celebrities were everywhere. It ends up a lot of celebrities, that's how they spend extra money. To make more money is they just own McDonald's. So one of them was Liza Minnelli, and coming from Fantasyland into Liberty Square. She was coming towards Fantasyland, and she said, "Excuse me, young man, where's the bathroom?" And I said, "Oh, just keep on going down. You're going to take a right, and it's going to be right there." That was back when the Peter Pan restrooms, or the Peter Pan extended queue was not a thing. Those were actually restrooms. Also, I always think that's funny because a lot of people don't realize when they're walking through like the Darling house, you're actually walking through the old woman's restroom. That's what used to be there. Things like that. One time, speaking of Peter Pan, one time I had, it was actually disgusting but cool, was someone threw up in Peter Pan, but onto the Mermaid Lagoon. So they had to close down the ride for half an hour while me and another guy got to walk through the ride to clean it. That was pretty cool too. There was a lot of crazy things that happened. It is really crushed. I apologize. I was making up lies earlier. Have you tried the new Disney game Dreamlight Valley? I've been playing it and it's really fun. I have not yet. I'm not a big game person. I'll play some games, but I don't play a lot of games. I play like Nerdle and Wordle and Quirtle and all the duels, and Mario Kart. Those are like the only games that I ever really play. So no, I have not played it yet. I don't know if I'll. We were actually on the way home from the park today. My dad and I were talking about Disney Infinity. I was like, I love Disney Infinity. However, when they switched it from Wii to Wii U, I was like, I don't have a Wii U, so I stopped playing. And that was the last time that I really got the thing. What did you think of Hocus Pocus 2? I enjoyed it. It's not my whoa. I just hit a button. There we go. It's not my favorite movie ever. The only thing I didn't like about it, and this is not going to give spoilers away or anything, so don't worry, I'm not going to spoil the movie for you. The only thing I didn't really like about it was the musical numbers, the modern musical numbers. I felt like we're like trying too hard to like modernize it. So that was the only one that I didn't really. I didn't really like that part. We'll see. Nebuna. What is the song that plays on Main Street? There's several songs that play on Main Street. Most of the songs that play on Main Street are things like they've got a song from 101 Dalmatians. They got the song from Up. They've got a song from Hello Dolly, which is also the song. There's a few songs from Hello Dolly. There's a lot of like musical numbers from like the 1920s, 1930s. Those musical numbers that took place in like the turn of the century, they have a lot of those ones kind of scattered around there as well. So overall, yeah, there's a lot of music on Main Street USA. I love listening to the Up one. I like listening to that while walking down Main Street. Actually, I like listening to all the music while walking down Main Street. All of them are just great songs. All right, again, if you guys are just joining us right now, keep throwing your questions in the comments below. We still have about 10 to 15 minutes left here before we wrap it up. So if you guys want to have a Disney question answered, throw it into the comments below and we will answer it as soon as possible. All right, let's go on to our next question here. I'm checking to see, have we gone up any subscribers? It's taking forever to load right now. Oh, no, we went down one. No. We did. We went down to 21 to 52. Okay. Any news on replacement show when Kite Tail stops? Kite Tail has already stopped. Unfortunately, the Hurricane Ian decided to close up Kite Tails a week early. So Kite Tails was supposed to go until the 30th of September. The last show of it was on Monday, the 26th. I'm extremely bummed about Kite Tails leaving. I loved Kite Tails. I don't understand why Kite Tails had so much hate. I knew so many people who hated Kite Tails. Kite Tails was one of my favorite, like, I'm not even joking. It was one of my favorite entertainment things in the park, especially when they used to do the whole show. And then when they went to like these small shows where it's like, oh, we're just going to have the kites fly around for a few seconds. I was like, no, I like the old show. I like the entire show. And I loved Kitetails. I really, truly loved Kitetails, and I'm so bummed it's gone. And there's so many people who are like, yeah, no more Kitetails. It wasn't doing anything to you. You don't have to be upset that you don't like. I had someone today who wrote to me about how they don't like Tower of Terror. I think it was on my Instagram picture. They're like, I don't like Tower of Terror. They should tear it down. Okay, there's things people aren't going to like, but it's okay if they still exist for other people because other people might like it. I like Kitetails, and I'm bummed it's gone, and I find it very offensive. There's so many people who are like, yeah, it's gone. Okay, well, now we have nothing there. So would you rather have something there or nothing? Apparently people want nothing. And it bums me out because I thought it was a great show. I loved Kitetails. I'm 100% serious. I loved Kitetails. Anytime I was at the park and Kitetails was going on, I would gravitate towards that part of the park. I loved Kitetails. I thought it was such a perfect blend of what Animal Kingdom is about, where it's not like a in-your-face show. And that's what I've heard people talk about too. They're like, oh, it should have been a bigger, grander thing with fireworks and stuff. But they can't do fireworks at Animal Kingdom because of the animals. It's in the name of the thing, Animal Kingdom. and then on top of that, Animal Kingdom is supposed to be a nice, relaxing park. So having a nice, relaxing show like Kitetails is perfect. It's a perfect fit. And I don't think people ever understand that. It's like the Rivers of Light that used to be at the same location, why they actually built that entire theater area. People were always like, this is terrible. It should be faster paced. It's Animal Kingdom. It's supposed to be a nice, relaxing park. And it's my biggest pet peeve with some people when they talk about it, because I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Kitetails was supposed to be a nice, easygoing, relaxing thing. That's the vibe of the park. That's how Rivers of Light was too. And when both left, people are like, yeah, it's gone. I don't know what you're winning. How are you winning? This is not it shouldn't be a win or lose situation. It should be like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You just don't go see it. I don't go see Playhouse Disney or Disney Junior every time I'm at the park. But I'm not going to be like, yeah, they closed Disney Junior. Yeah, in your face, little kids. I know. I don't know. What are you looking for? What are you looking forward to seeing at Candlelight Procession? So the only I'm trying to think of the third person. There's three people who I always love to see. That they're not there every time, but they're there most times. I always like seeing Neil Patrick Harris, and I always like seeing Jodie Benson. Those are the two where I'm like, if I see one of those two every year, I am perfectly happy. They're my two favorite people to see during Candlelight Processional. One, because I think Jodie Benson, it's you don't have to go to church for the rest of the year because she's so into it. And then Neil Patrick Harris, because he's just a great storyteller. So he does a great job and puts his own little spin on everything. So yeah. You should do a Wednesday show sharing stories from when you worked at Disney. That was so no joke, back in 2009. Wow. Back in 2009 when we first started doing this podcast, that was legit our first probably month of episodes. So back when I worked at Disney. And then people are like, okay, I'm sick of this guy. And they left. Is Electrical Parade not coming back to the Magic Kingdom? There is no word about whether it's coming back to Disney World or whether it's coming back to Disneyland. Nothing official yet. When they announced that it was closing or leaving Disneyland, a lot of people just started making up things saying, oh, it's for sure coming to Disney World. I have a feeling it's going to come to Disney World, but they haven't made any announcements yet. I never truly say oh, it's 100% in until Disney themselves is so this is what's going to happen. Which is funny because there's been times where when the hurricane, for instance, when they announced that the parks were going to be closing, one of my people who tells me things, they said, hey, by the way, the parks are closing, Wednesday and Thursday for the hurricane. And I was like, no. And I posted on my Instagram, and I had 5 people who wrote to me almost immediately, how do you know this? They haven't said anything. And I was like, haha. And then they announced it an hour later, and I was like, in your faces. But yeah. Are there any Mickey One merch yet? What's Mickey One merch? Which one are you talking about for Mickey One merch? Oh, I'm sitting on the ground. It's not very comfortable. The Mickey One merch. I'm not sure what the Mickey One merch is. Man, I'm drawing a blank here. Will they keep the Beacons of Light when the 50th stops in March? I hope so. I think the Beacons of Light or the Beacons of Magic were the greatest addition to everything. So I really hope so. I really, really hope so. But yeah, I feel like they will. I'd be kind of shocked if they took them away, especially I could see them taking them away at Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and Studios because those are like mainly projections. But Epcot, because it's like actually like thousands of lights up there, I can't see them taking that away. And I really hope they don't take it away because I think that the Beacons of Magic on Spaceship Earth is like the coolest addition that they made. So hopefully we'll see. What is the best character dining experience in your opinion? What's the best character dining experience? For food or for characters? Because I would so for food, I would say Crystal Palace breakfast is really good. The kids puffed French toast is some of the best food you'll ever have. I think it all depends on the character though. Because I really enjoy Garden Grill. I think Garden Grill is a great one. I really like Mickey, Pluto, Chip, and Dale. I think all of them are amazing. I just got a message from Matt. I think he's sending me what the Mickey One merch is. I feel like it sounds familiar, but I'm drawing blank. Oh, that one. No, they don't have that, man. I know that now that you say that, okay. This is what Matt's talking about. Like little stuffed animal. It's so cute. I do really like that though. I think that's really cool. No, there's no Mickey One merch, unfortunately, Matt. But yeah, going back to the dining experience, I would say, I think Garden Grill, Mickey, Pluto, Chip and Dale are amazing. So I love doing that, and the food there is great. Actually, you know what? That one's that might be my favorite of the character dinings. Is it my favorite character dining? Garden Grill. It might be. I mean, Cinderella's Royal Tables are great too, but I think I'm going through all of them in my brain right now, real quick. Yeah, I would say Garden Grill. I think Garden Grill might be my favorite of both food and characters. I think it's just a great combination. What is your all-time favorite parade? The Sharing a Dream Come True parade. That actually, the Sharing a Dream Come True parade is the reason we're all here right now. So if it was not for that parade, I honestly don't know where my life would be, which is kind of crazy. So when I was on my college program, the parade was going on, and there's the different floats. Remember it was like the snow globe floats, and so it was like the snow globes, and there would be the characters inside. And like, hey. And you'd have Mickey in a snow globe, and then you'd have the genie was holding the snow globe, and Aladdin was on top of the carpet, and all the different snow globes featured like different things. So like one was the princess float, one was the villain's float, one was Mickey's float. And so one of the floats was the flight float. And on the flight float, there was Genie. He was holding onto a snow globe. Underneath him was Aladdin on the carpet. And then below him was Dumbo being carried by Mr. Stork. And then in addition to that, you had, there was a few other characters there. But the reason that we're here is because two of the characters that were on there was Bernard and Bianca from The Rescuers. And I saw them, I freaked out. Fun fact, I used to watch the parade almost every single shift. And so the parade was coming. I was working in Fantasyland. I went through the cast and I was like watching them. And I saw Bernard and Bianca on the float. And they're like yay big. and I saw them and I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never noticed that before. And I became obsessed with trying to find as many details as possible. I had always known about like the details and hidden, like I knew a lot about the hidden Mickeys before that, but I had never really paid too much attention until that moment about all the different hidden things around the park. And yeah, it spawned my life. Like legit, that parade changed my life. I'm not a big parade person either. That parade changed my life because I saw Bernard and Bianca, and it caused me to write a book, and it caused me to start a podcast, and it caused me to make a website, and it caused me to move to Florida. And if it wasn't for that, I don't even know. Like I really don't know. I don't know. I have no idea where my life would be. So yes, that is my all-time favorite parade. Paint the Night would be perfect at Magic Kingdom. I would love for Paint the Night to come to Magic Kingdom. I think that would be the greatest thing ever. What happened to your regular setup? My parents are in town. So I'm actually at the condo that my parents are renting right now. This is my bed. Maybe I'll do the top one tonight. I don't. Probably not. The only reason we're in this room is because if you look up there, they have Mickey up there. And then they got Minnie right there. And they got Mickey, Goofy, and Pluto right there. And I think that's it. So that's what happened in the regular setup. My parents are in town. I'm spending time with my parents. I'm staying over here tonight. So yeah, that's what's going on. Artist Point character dying with the Wicked Queen. She is amazing. I have not done it since they switched over to the character dining. I always enjoyed Artist Point. So when they switched to character dining, I was like, I don't know if I want to go there. I want to go there at some point, but we'll see. My favorite parade was Dreams Come True. That was a good parade too. It'd be so cool if they brought back the Hurley's parade. It would be really cool to bring back all the old parades and just have a mega parade. The lack of Donald rep the room is absurd. Well, they got that. I've been sleeping on rainbow bed sheets. And Donald's a duck, and sometimes he flies. So, and rainbows are in the sky. So he's technically, yeah. Okay. Yes, the Disney Afternoon Parade. Oh, that was a great parade too. I love the parade at Animal Kingdom. That I loved. Besides the other parade for nostalgia reasons, I also liked the Mickey's Jammin' Jungle Parade. Fun fact: I was in that parade as a what's it called? Grand Marshal. We were there. It was actually the weekend that I met two of my friends that I'm still good friends with to this day. I was also friends with someone else, actually my old roommate here, and she had a friend. There's a lot of friends of friends of friends. She had a friend who was a character attendant. So we're like, oh, we'll go visit her character attendant friend who was with Pocahontas that day. So we're going to go meet Pocahontas. And while we were there, her manager came up to her and was like, hey, the next family you can find, we need them to be in the parade. And she's like, oh, did you get this person right here? This is my friend. And that's her other friend. And I was like, oh. And so they chose us. But then my friend who eventually became my roommate couldn't make it. And they're like, you have 3 hours to try to find one or two people to join you on this thing. So I called up my friends Frank and Dave, who I literally just met that weekend. And they were in town too. And I was like, hey, do you guys want to be in the parade? And so, yeah, we got to be part of the parade. And how that parade was set up was it was the Grand Marshal and then Rafiki. And then behind that was another Grand Marshal and then another character float and then another Grand Marshal and then another character float. So the first Grand Marshal float, it was like the typical one. So people weren't like, they're like, okay, just some random guest. And then there's Rafiki, and then you get to the next one. That was the one that we were at. So people were like trying to figure out who we were because why on earth would you have multiple floats with multiple guests in there? And people didn't really realize that. I had seen the parade enough that I was like, oh, this is how the parade works. Like it's every other float is another family. And so when people would see us, they'd be like, "Who are you?" And Frank was like, "Oh, we should have it so we tell people we're the Jonas Brothers because there's 3 of us." And we're like, "Yeah, that'd be funny." This is 2009 too, so like the Jonas Brothers were like massive at that point. So we'd be like, "We're the Jonas Brothers." People were like, "Ha, ha, ha." And my favorite was when we were entering into Asia to take a left to go towards Africa. This one guy's like, "Who are you?" We're like, "We're the Jonas Brothers." And he took his kid and put his kid right in front of the float and took a picture of his child with the Jonas Brothers, who were not the Jonas Brothers. And that kid probably went to school. It was like, "Here's a picture of me with the Jonas Brothers." And all the people would be like, "That's not the Jonas Brothers. Those are just the old dudes." Uh, my favorite place is the Chase Lounge in the American Pavilion. I miss the Chase Lounge so much. I have the Rainy Day Parade. Last time I saw it, I watched Stitch accidentally soak a kid from. Oh God, that's awful. But the Rainy Day Parade is a lot of fun. Okay, it looks like that is going to be wrapping up our show here. I'm going to spend some time with my parents. So thank you everyone for joining us once again tonight. Tonight's show, of course, as always, was sponsored by. Wait a minute. It's pretend there's a ball here. It's all about the mouse travel. Hey. Make sure you stop by allaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All of their services are absolutely positively 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. I'd like to thank everyone out there for joining us once again this week. Please keep on spreading the word about the Wednesday show and From Screen to Theme, and invite anyone and everyone to join the groups over on Facebook or here on the YouTube channel as well. If you're not already subscribed to YouTube, make sure you go subscribe and send some videos to your friends. I'm sure they would love to learn a little bit more about Disney. We're getting closer and closer to hitting our 1 millionth. This is not a joke at all. Our 1 millionth view. We are just a little over 200,000 views away, which seems like a huge number, but we have gone up 300,000 views in the last not even 3 months. So we are getting closer and closer to actually hitting our 1 millionth view. So make sure you send some friends over so hopefully we can hit that 1 millionth view before the end of the year. And of course, as always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Have a great week, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I just can't stand this kind